It is time for another drawing in the dark. I'm Levi Smith. Welcome all. Oh man, I'm out of coffee, but we got some drawing to do. I'm still working on the All Skulls coloring book. We're working through a few more pages for that, and I think we're just going to jump right into it here. At the Jade Monkey. I've got a cool, pretty little, pre-sketch here. Pretty rough, but you can kind of see where things are going to be going today. Now I did a smaller one last time that we went and like fully inked out and stuff. We're not going to be going that far. I'm just going to do a draw up here on this guy. We're going to drop the opacity on this here. A little bit of. Come on now. Zoom in, zoom in. A little bit of Grim Reaper action, as it were. Come back here. I'm just going to hook up my battery because I realized it was not plugged in, and that's a thing that's got to be done before. Oh, there we go. Before my tablet just suddenly dies out in the middle of this drawing. Here we go. There we go. We are good. All right, so here we are. We're going to just jump right in to this guy. I hope everyone is doing well. I really don't know what day it is, what time of the year it is for you guys out there, but it is it's still summer here where I'm at my particular chronological situation, which is pretty confident it's going to be different for all you guys out there. I'm going to just kind of rough things in here. I'm just going to move through this and see where, because of this underdrawing of the skeleton and stuff, I can kind of figure out where everything's going to go. I'm just going to erase a big little chunk of that right there because we have this sleeve that's going to hide that more complex part of the shoulder, which I'm absolutely okay with. So we're just gonna bring this like this. Good old skeleton hands. I got a few other skeleton pieces in mind once I finish these out, so I'm definitely going to be continuing this whole drawing in the dark drawing series. And I may not, I don't know, like as far as calling it drawing in the dark, I'm using that because that's part of my whole Patreon post kind of thing, is I call my little blog drawing in the dark. And I think it's clever. So I'm just using it right now. I'll discuss it with Kenny as far as if we're going to keep up with that or if we're going to evolve it into something else. Yeah, that's right. I forgot here. I've got the sleeve comes out from under this kind of cloak, kind of giving him some layers, which I don't know why then he would have sleeves, but he'd just be kind of like showing that ribby chest out like that. I don't know. There's a little bit of a logic thing there. Maybe we do something like this. He just wants to make sure you can see how dead he is on the inside. We're gonna do maybe something like this. So it's all connected up to the cloak or to the brooch. A little skull, mushroom kind of shape going on there. And then I can show a little bit of the boniness. And then my logic is he's just trying to make sure that you can tell that he's like all the way just a bone daddy. Through here, so just bones. Those two bones here, they'll probably connect right about in here. A couple little squiggles will work for now. Now the staff is coming through here. Alright, so we're bringing this. It's going to kind of tell me where I really need these hands to grip. The scythe. Interesting thing about this scythe, this is like a farming tool for like cutting crops, grass. It would be way more curved than this one, and then have like this little extra handle that comes off on the side. Kind of like stick that on like right there. But then my mind says that he should be holding it there. We're gonna have him hold it right here. But yeah. So that's what that's what he's reaping, because that's what you would do to a harvest, would reap what you sow. So it's kind of interesting how we just have this knack as human beings for various aspects of our culture to reassociate something in some other way that's like super dark. The Grim Reaper is harvesting souls of the dead to take you to the afterlife. Not a Christian notion, but something that's generally been kind of like, I wouldn't say universal, but a broad acceptance, especially here in the Western world, as this just kind of entity, this arbiter, this middle ground kind of character, where the Grim Reaper is not necessarily supposed to be like good or evil. Charon, 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 the ferryman floating down the river Styx, ferry you across to the afterlife. I mean, it's like super duper, Greek, but it's stuck. It's stuck in a lot of cultures, at least that I see in America. It's been a pretty ubiquitous, universal kind of like representation of death. Doesn't seem to really offend anybody. This particular representation of death, the personification, and yeah, makes a good addition into a coloring book that is comprised of skulls, especially when you want to make sure that there'll be something to color in a coloring book of skulls. Minor little foresight, a little bit of a joke that there's not much to color on a skull. Not like a black and white coloring book. I mean, the goths will dig it. I think it's a fabulous idea. That's why I'm putting so much time into the dang little thing. Let's get some ribs in there. Yeah, I should kind of work this out a little bit better as far as the spacing with these guys. Come in here and just kind of shape these out a bit more. one of the things, and I don't know, just always kind of drawn this way. I don't know if it's right, if it's wrong, if it's better, if it's worse, but I do a lot of this kind of scribble sketching, and I kind of search and find and build the shapes that I need. I do try to work, compositionally. I mean, one of the things is that I don't often just draw blind. Like, I'm just going to start making lines and I don't know what this is going to be. Sometimes I do. I did that as an exercise for a while, but often it really is trying to come up with a concept in my mind, even if it's simple. When I draw a bee on a flower, and then from there it's working out. Okay, well, what's the structure of the flower? Where do I want the bee to be on the flower? Where's what I think is gonna show something in a more positive way. Is this a positive kind of image? Is this a negative image? Is it like a doom bee or something that's got some crazy stinger and devil horns and stuff on it, or is it like a little intoxicated bee, that's kind of bumbling and stumbling around, trying to find its way, falling off the flower? Is it some kind of like memorial thing, and so those kinds of considerations, all will kind of guide the piece, and then start working it up in a really, really general way, and then start asking and answering those questions, trying to search, for solutions that make sense, that work, and then going from there, and then building it up and evolving it, developing it. Having the freedom in this way to say, like, just scribble things out, just put things where I think they should go, and then work it up, develop it, correct it from there. I think that's it's always worked well for me. It seems kind of hard for me to move away from this kind of methodology, and there's people that draw in so many different ways. And online you can see so many different methodologies and ways of drawing, and so it's really not about finding the right way. It's about finding your way, finding your process. I don't think anybody can teach anybody else the kind of art that they're supposed to be making. You can definitely teach somebody fundamentals. You can teach them different physical properties of materials, of processes, of proportion, movement, design, composition, light, color. But you can't really teach somebody how to make their art. Because sometimes people's art is, making cool stuff out of the trash that they find. Some people it's doing these wonderful, beautiful paintings. Some people it's sculpting little Pokemon characters. Some people it's they wanna draw, they wanna paint, they wanna use clay, they wanna they're doing it digitally, they're doing it 3D, they're doing it Photoshop, they're doing it Clip Studio, they're drawing with sand, they're sometimes it's cultural, it's religious, it's to me it's expression. There's three real motivations in like prime motivations in the human existence, really. The first one is survival, and so we're all naturally motivated towards survival. And then the next one is reproduction. We are all generally motivated to want to reproduce, not even just simply biologically, but to reproduce our knowledge, reproduce our experiences, but on a biological level, obviously, to reproduce, make more of us, and then there's expression. And expression, the first two, survival and reproduction, those can be turned into expression, as an expression of who that person is. They're particularly adept or in tuned or specialized in some ways towards the concepts of survival and reproduction. Whether that person, say, be a doctor, a parent, a martial artist expert, a survivalist, military. We all find different ways to express ourselves, and that's really what it all comes down to, is expression. Trying to get, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be in some high-level way of artistry. You don't have to write poetry or a song or draw a picture to be expressive or to need expression. People are going to do it in what they say, how they say it, when they say it. They're going to do it in their work. They're going to do it in their clothing. They're going to do it in everything. Everything that's not motivated by survival and reproduction is motivated by expression. Our pursuit of the sciences, our pursuit of art, medicine, everything, law, government, it's all expression. So it's all, and expression fundamentally ends up being, art, because when you can turn something that some people might just see as labor, some people might see as an inconvenience, some people might just see as like a factor of reality and life. Other people will see that as an opportunity to master it and to use it as a point of expression, to display prowess, understanding, ability. A mechanic, a plumber, an electrician. These people can get to the point where their work is to a point an expression of their integrity, their genuineness, the quality of their work, and so it becomes something where it's not just the thing anymore, but it's I'm going to tell people what kind of person I am through this behavior. And so it doesn't have to be poetry and art, music. It doesn't have to be sculpture. It doesn't have to be statues. You don't have to be an artiste for expression to really be a fundamental drive in your existence on a daily basis. In fact, it's pretty much what we're all doing to one degree or another. It's just what we want and need to express as a being. And sometimes even, our system, especially our Western world system, can make it difficult to even explore those concepts. It's definitely not something that that's the highest on the list. I mean, expression is number 3 for a reason. So if you're really just focused on survival, then that actually becomes your expression on a really fundamental basis. That's not like it's like I need food. It's not simply that food is my art. So there are some like hierarchy of needs kind of qualities to it and stuff. I mean, it's a testament to the civilization for the amount of musicians and other kinds of artists, performers, illustrators, painters, actors. The more of that a civilization has, I think is a show of a particular level of advancement and security of that civilization. Because if things are good, if things are stable, if you have a good system going, then it can support a lot of people that are doing things that are not intrinsically necessary towards civilization and survival in a technical sense in that, you know, I don't have to be a soldier or a physicist or an engineer or a farmer. I draw pictures for a living. And it's actually, you know, my civilization and society at the point that it's at that can support me being an artist, an illustrator for a living. Because at certain levels, you know, this would be a thing that would not necessarily be an option if I had to, you know, farm for my food or hunt for it or anything kind, you know, quite like that. So it really is, you know, an interesting kind of civilizational privilege to be at the point that we are right now. Especially when we have so damn many artists. Not as a complaint, but just really to underscore the fact that, you know, especially like America has become a nation of entertainment to an extent. I mean, because most of what I'm going to talk about, side subjects and stuff while I'm drawing, is going to be really entertainment based. I am a pop culture nerd. You know, growing up with cartoons and toys and stuff, and maintaining and you know, fostering that obsession through adulthood to the point where, you know, I've got to resist the urge to buy toys, buy action figures, buy Legos and stuff like that, you know. And I am not always successful. And there's this weird kind of indoctrinated kind of consumer's joy that I get out of that stuff, you know, and that I get excited for, you know. You know, I mean, I've mentioned it a number of times, like with my love of Star Trek. You know, I'm always bummed out that they don't have a lot of like licensed collectibles and toys available for Star Trek, especially not on the level that there is for Star Wars. Holy cow, you know. But like little 3 3/4 inch GI Joes, you know, GI Joe sized figurine, you know, action figures that would be Star Trek characters, you know, getting like a ship, you know, that's not like a model of the Enterprise, but like a GI Joe level kind of vehicle, you know, that you can put a bunch of figures into and stuff. I mean, it'd be huge. Even if it was a little GI Joe figure size compatible, man. I mean, you'd have to get like just a bridge playset to pretend like they're on the bridge. It'd still be, you know, pretty big if you wanted one in proportion to those figurines, a whole spaceship. I mean, because those things can be, you know, 30 stories tall. You know, each deck is more than like a floor in a building, because you've got all kinds of other conduit little cubby spacings and stuff in between the decks. And, oh yeah, man, massive. The spaceships are just massive. There was one particular bit where online, you know, where they show you like the comparative sizes of these Star Trek spaceships to like real world kind of craft. And the Enterprise from the Next Generation series in the 80s is like 4 aircraft carriers, you know, long. That's, you know, 4 American, you know, Nimitz class aircraft carriers. And that's some serious size. That is some serious size. And kind of weird too that there'd only be like 1,000 crew members on a ship that big. But, you know, there's a lot A lot of automation. No Bluetooth, but a lot of automation. Let's see here. Just kind of trucking along on this guy. I mean, it's not like I need to super coach what I'm doing here, you know. We'll give him a little, it's kind of a little Spawn-esque skull brooch, you know. He's all about the branding here, this guy. He wants to make sure you know exactly who he is. I'm just gonna suggest in a really lazy way some folds here in his dress. I mean, I guess it's a dress. It's kind of like popish kind of a thing, you know. Some big old robe. I may not like it being called a dress, but you got this here. Kind of suggest the edge. Make it kind of sharp, I guess. Put that little extra line there off the edge, and then it gives it that blade. That's where our lighting's coming from. I haven't really fully thought of a lighting scheme on this guy, but it looks like that little support piece, connector ring for the blade, just kind of tell me there that my lighting is kind of coming from here. So that's what we'll do here as we move along. I've got some like torn sleeve action here that I go in and do a more final line version. That stuff will be, I'll accentuate that stuff. Go into hard on it right now. It is nice to make that stuff pop out. It's going to be shadow. Okay, the edge of his sleeve there is going to kind of disappear. Makes me think of a bad, is that Borat joke? Like sleeve of wizard. Yeah, it's all I'm referencing on that. You have to look that up yourself. Just popped in my head there. Okay, now, and just to help out some of this, this will be important. This will tell me, I'm just going with a thicker line, as you might be able to see. That can be definitely more dramatic than that finer line. And this is, of course, something that I don't always do at this stage. Never bad to do, though. Try to follow my lighting. This can really accentuate and tell me. Because this might be one of the pieces that I can go like a heavier black in some areas, just so that with a little bit more complex of an image and a little bit more, I wouldn't say complex of lighting, but a little bit more detail and dependency on lighting, I might just kind of put in the heavy black shadows in a piece like this, so that when you see it in the coloring book, the lighting will kind of already be obvious. But that might make just for an easier, more fun outcome. because you could still decide that, like, the color of the lighting. So, but you kind of get a freebie on the lighting decisions there. Thickness, just certain places. Really. Right, yeah, there we go, right? And not so much about the skull, I guess, this time. That's okay. Skull is just really a simple medium in which to build off of. And we're gonna go back to here. I just want to shade this a little bit out here where the kind of cloak kind of poofs out. Yeah, definitely over here because of the shadowing. But I think we are pretty much done with this one. Yeah, so thanks for coming by, thanks for checking things out, thanks for watching along. We got the website jademonkeystudio.net. No. jademonkeyproductions.net. And we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/mopandbucket. And we have the things on the website, and we have a store where you can buy stuff. And then you can like and subscribe. That doesn't actually cost anything. Means a lot for the channel. And then we got all kinds of other options and stuff. We got stuff, man. We got stickers, we got our prints, we got t-shirts, We're doing the thing. So check us out. This is where we are at today. Still a ways to go with this guy in some ways, but, he's alright. He's alright. He is scribbly AF, right? That's how the kids say it. AF. Anyway, yeah, so until next time, we will see you all later.